We are. Why am I saying we? Because it's just me. I am live. What's up? What's up? What's up? It is I. I am him. It is me. Grunk Chocolate. What's up, guys? It's Thursday night. Let's stream. I have a wonderful concoction that I basically just threw some stuff together. I am entirely too old to be drinking the things that I'm drinking in this cup right now, but it is the vibes for the lit stream. That's what we do. You know, we have a wonderful show for you tonight. No show bros yet. So what this means is chaos episode. I love these chaos episodes. I've learned to embrace them. Used to scramble around, but you know what the vibes are. I'm going to bring our guests on. Who we have? Soni M. We got Brighton. We got Meghan. We got some gooner action in here, and then Kevin, the homie. Sete. So we're all over the place. We're having some fun. We'll see how it goes, though, because there's a nice array of topics and conversations that are to be had. I mean, what I am seeing is there is some Kansas City intersection. So that's where we, if conversation maybe gets too crazy, too aggressive, scary for me, maybe I'll just like Kansas City. What Kansas City thing can we find and agree on? I am not. Oh, Elijah already talking smack. He said on Twitter that y'all, as in Man City, are going to get waxed on Saturday as in Newcastle. I don't know about all that. That's definitely not happening. But you can be hopeful. Actually, I'm not going to lie. In the podcast, I am nervous. And the only reason why I'm nervous, and we can get to it, is because of the fact that no. I'm going to keep it old school. We're going to go one at a time because I need to have this conversation with Kevin. Here we go. We got Tom Bomb. I need to have this conversation with Kevin about this match on the weekend without Meghan and her Arsenalness coming up and ruining this conversation. So and Tom Bomb showed up. We're doing it one at a time. But I was going to miss it. Meghan, she's fantastic. She's a chaos agent. To me, she's a lit stream all-star. So I'm going to give her time. But first, let's bring our first guest on, the homie, Kevin. Hold on. Tom, you all right? Oh.
No, hold on a second.
Okay. No worries. You handle your thing. I will bring the guest on.
Okay, we're good.
Like, technically, if I replace, it's a very safe thing, but the way that you were kind of like looking and frantically pushing buttons, it did kind of give.
This shit is on fire?
Yeah.
No, we're good. I promise. Nothing's burning over here.
I may or may not be in danger.
I'm good. I promise.
Okay, good.
I do not need a wellness check.
Hey, and Kevin's a little closer than you are. I don't know if he get there in time, but it's the thought that matters.
He figured out. He's a smart guy.
He's a great smart guy. How are you, homie? I like the kit, by the way. Let's just start there. What is the kit?
So I was actually just in New York for work, 2-3 weeks ago, and swung by the Manchester City store because we are a big club and we have an official store here in the United States.
You know the vibes. And fan 777, Meghan is a sweet baby angel. You shut your mouth.
Well, sweet baby Meghan cannot relate to having a store in the United States.
Hey, there you go. Okay. Let's start here in the Kansas City things. KC Sports, all of the way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Wow, you're in sporting. Wow. Like they're not great. So shout out to you for Chiefs, Royals. You got a lot of up and down on these teams.
So yeah, my wife and I have been sporting season ticket holders since 2011, 2012, something like that. So we saw us win MLS Cup out at Sporting Park.
It was real cold that day too.
It was very cold. Luckily, we were in the cauldron. We could pop inside. I'm pretty sure I had my eyes closed the entire penalty shootout. But yeah, this year has not been great, and obviously, I think one thing that some of our city fans across the pond can relate to, and I think all Premier League fans know that football's not doing a great job of treating their fans very well from a price hike perspective.
Yeah.
We got our season ticket price increase right during the middle of like a 5-game Sporting losing streak, and really waited till the last possible second to renew those Sporting tickets. So I'll be there again next year. Just sucker for punishment, I guess.
How is the atmosphere at those games? I mean, I guess it doesn't help because they're not good. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, I mean, I think Kansas City prides itself on being like soccer capital of America, but realistically, I think it ebbs and flows with how we're playing. The energy that you provide the team has to be reciprocated for you you get the energy going. The team has to give something back, give you a reason to be excited. And I think this year, even last year, it's kind of one of those things where we'd be up maybe like a goal or two, and you were literally waiting for, how are we going to mess this up? How is Peter not going to make changes late? How's the defense just going to collapse within the last like 15 minutes of the game to give up a draw or give up the 3 points? So yeah, it's really Sporting Park rocks when it's good. And
Oh, sorry. I wanted to hop in because I just saw Elijah again. He went in. Thank you for wearing the Newcastle kit. No, this is my burglar outfit because City are about to come into Newcastle and snatch points from you, fool. That's what's about to come. It's a jack.
I like that.
Jack move.
Let's talk about that though. Let's talk about that because I'm a little nervous about the game. Not because I think we are a better team like that.
Elijah, why are your Newcastle people hacking our guests? What's going on?
Can you guys hear me?
Tell you to calm down.
Yeah,
I thought we were Saudi Oil brothers.
There's an Amber Alert going off on my phone. Anyway, I think the big thing is like Bruno, no Rodri. That's going to be a problem. I think that's the only thing we really got to focus on.
What would be your suggestion on how to counter that?
I mean, let Bernardo run 70 kilometers this game, and have Kova as probably like Kova, Gundo double pivot and put Bernardo in front of him. But my worry with this injury is that you're not going to be able to play Foden as much in the creative role because you're going to want to handle possession and like kind of maintain. I think Grealish probably gets more play in these bigger Premier League games than I would rather like, because frankly, I like Savio and Doku creating chaos. But I think if you're wanting to control the transitions, you want to be safe in your attack to not have the problem going forward.
Okay. Do you think that means that Phil might see some more minutes on the right wing just because he needs to play and we're thin at that position?
It has to be. But then that you worry about kicking out Savio, Doku. Like, the numbers are tough already, I think, on the wing if Bernardo's sliding back into the midfield, and then you're worried about later this year we had Bob back. So I really think the construction of this team depended on Rodri being healthy. It really did. I think there's solutions in-house that mitigate that, but I think it creates an additional problem for you on the wing. That's my biggest issue with like Rodri going down, is it doesn't really affect too much in the defensive midfield if you have a strong back four behind him, which we do. If we have an injury there, then you're in real trouble. But I think it creates problems with having to cover more ground in the midfield, means bringing Bernardo in, and then you're messing with KDB and Foden. Like, one of them is playing at a time probably. Whereas I really wanted to see both of them play kind of those dual tens like together, sitting behind Holland, almost like that, where Julian was just pressing for Holland. You put Kev and Foden behind Holland, and I don't know how any team stops that.
I don't. My only thing is Gundo and Kova. That's just not a lot of leg back there. So if we do lose the ball, I think we're in trouble. I feel like Bernardo needs to be back there either with.
Is Crunk alive? I don't hear him.
Oh no, I think he died. I think a lot backed him. So do you think that there's a possibility that we see Stones or a Kanji start more in like a defensive midfield role?
Probably Stones. I'd like to see Rico step up and slide in, but anything to keep Walker out of my squad at this point. I don't know. That's probably too harsh given his credibility and his like history with the team. But I'm starting to get the vibe that he's a little bit washed.
I'm with you.
Sorry, like
Where's Charlie at? Charlie's about to say blasphemy.
Right, no, right. He's our resident Walker supporter. What I worry about Kova and Gundo together because there's just not a lot of legs in case we lose the ball or anything like that. Bernardo isn't necessarily a fast. He's not necessarily faster, but but he's at least the energy that we need. I feel like he has to be back there with one of those people. It doesn't help our height. Nobody's going to help our height and our strength. That's really going to be troublesome. I'm like very worried about
that. Yeah. I mean, Rodri, like that first game back, he looked objectively slow, right? But that's because what he's good at is like as soon as he got his legs under him, he's good at positioning himself mid-play to predict where that next ball is going. So he doesn't have to be running like a 4-4-40. He's already in position to like to win the challenge, get to the ball, get to the man and put a knock on him. Gundo, he's probably a half a step slower at the predictive part of the play in the six. And I think that's where him and Kova are really going to have to maybe double pivot to where like you're bracketing that outlet into the middle of the pitch. I just don't think you replace Rodri with one guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we would have signed Bruno G, I know we have a Newcastle fan in the chat. If we would have signed Bruno G in the summer, then yeah, we would be just playing the same way we played, and maybe a little dirtier. But the thing is, like now without that same cover, you're gonna have to. I don't know what the quote is, but it's like build him again in the aggregate. What the Moneyball quote, where you can't replace one guy, but you can rebuild him by adding three pieces that do one part of what he did, and in the collective, you're gonna be able to cover for him. I think the problem is long term what that does for the attack.
Shout out to you for using a Moneyball reference on the last home game of the Oakland A's ever.
Yikes, man. I feel for those fans. I think this is one of the bigger things that tribalism probably prevents us from doing a good job of. You see like everybody calling like the Etihad the empty hat or whatever if we don't sell out or something.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, these fans they're having to buy tickets to more games than ever during a period of inflation when the clubs are actively taking advantage of these fans. So I saw West Ham and Liverpool before their Carabao Cup game march together with a sign saying "Stop taking advantage of fans" or something to that effect, and really calling out these price hikes that are going on. And
sorry, Sharky, I was handling things.
Oh, bro, you good? Keep going.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that more fans realize that, you know, if we band together and really put our foot down, like stuff like the Super League, stuff like these price hikes, frankly, like call out your own club too. City tried to raise parking on disabled fans with like wheelchair accessible vans. They tried to institute a new charge for them to park their vehicles close to the Etihad. I think we gotta put fans first, and tribalism isn't really helping that.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Well, what's up, Sharpie? How you doing, homie?
Good evening, fellas. Sorry for the tardiness. My apologies.
Hey, life happens.
Good to see you, Kev. Oh man,
Yeah, what's going on, Sharpie?
nothing much, man.
Am I frozen, or is that just for me? My video.
You're good on my end. I can
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All I see is my frozen face, and I thought this was like the most awkward shot of me for the last like 5 minutes.
No, we weren't gonna put you out to dry like that.
No, I wouldn't do you like that. Hold up, can I see that shirt real quick? What is that? Whoa, that's
Right.
nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's fire. Good stuff.
I actually want to hear this away trip, because getting hit by a car, like you get that
Okay.
lead.
Yeah. So I've got a group of like guy friends that we've been friends since high school, and we take an away NFL trip every year. We actually just got back from Atlanta on Sunday night football. Went down to Atlanta, had a good time. But yeah, we were in Baltimore. 3 years ago, maybe, Monday night football game. I see Tom shaking his head. The Clyde fumble game. Yeah, brutal, awful finish. But Saturday night, so Saturday we always just go out first thing, like 11 o'clock in the morning, find a bar, watch college football, get drunk all day, and then wake up Sunday and go to the game.
The best.
Yeah. So we started drinking at 11. We closed the bars down on like Federal Hill in Baltimore at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and are trying to get an Uber out of this really busy area to go around the bay to where our Airbnb is. And it's like going to be like a 30-40 minute wait for like an Uber XL to fit like seven of us in there. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not waiting. Grab a scooter. And I grab a scooter with 2% battery on my phone. Not proud of this fact. It's not the greatest idea I've ever had, but when I first took off, it was great. I was like, doing the little like zoom in, like just enjoying myself, like feeling the breeze. And I get closer to the Airbnb. I'm still like a couple miles out, and I realize, man, my phone's gonna die, and I don't want to get lost in West Baltimore at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? Probably not a good idea. So I like start memorizing what streets I need to turn on and stuff. Would stop and pull over and remember like which streets, like go for like a little bit, then stop and pull out my phone again to check where I'm going. And finally I'm at like 1%. I know I have one more time to like memorize where the hell I'm going to find our house. And our Airbnb is a row house too, so it's like I got to remember the address because they all look the same. I have no idea where I'm going, and I'm drunk. I've been drinking all day. So I stop at a 4-way stop, and I'm checking my phone and just hear a roar coming out behind me, and I turn and I got hit by a Toyota Tundra at a 4-way stop that sent me like out into the middle of the street. And I stand up, I'm like gushing blood out of my elbow. If you see, I don't know how close you can see that, but that's my arrowhead tattoo is right over the top of the big scar that I have left.
This adds texture to the arrowhead.
Wow.
To commemorate the occasion. Yeah. So like I'm gushing blood. I stand up, and this like, I don't know, like 40-year-old white guy just like makes eye contact with me and then just peels out in his Toretto the other direction. Yep. Because he was probably drinking and driving. And I mean, so was I, but I was on a scooter, so it's less bad. And so I immediately like check my phone, and it's got the little Apple logo because it's shutting down and dying, and I have no idea where the hell I'm going. So I had to I was trying to walk in the general direction of where I was supposed to be going, and I look up this hill, and there's like these two girls walking across the street home from the bars, and I again, I'm drunk, so none of this story reflects greatly on me. But I yell, "Hey, ladies!" And yeah, they studiously avoided eye contact and kept walking. So I had to like jog up the hill and like tell them like, listen, I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'm not trying to mess with you. I literally just got hit by a car, and they're like, what? And so I hold up my elbow, and it's like, again, it's like dripping blood. And they go, oh shit. And so they let me use their phone. And the best part of this is all of my friends, when I zoomed off on the scooter, like texted and tattled on me to my wife, saying that, hey, he fucking took off. We don't know where he's going. And so she was staying up, which is thank God, because her number is really the only number I like
sounds
have
like a road trip to
my
me.
phone in my head. So they give me their phone, these two girls, and I call. She answers because she sees it's a Baltimore area code, and I have to tell my wife like, hey, I'm gonna need you to stay calm. I got hit by a car. I'm okay. I need you to look up our Airbnb address. And like 5 to 10 seconds of silence, the loudest sigh I've ever heard in my life, followed by another 5 to 10 seconds of silence, and then the address to my Airbnb. So these girls, like, it happened to be on their way home into the suburbs, so they gave me a ride. They asked the one thing they asked for was that I don't bleed in their car. So on the way home, I was holding my elbow like this so the blood would run down my arm. And then when I got down to here, I would flip my arm back up. So I had like racetracks up and down to my arm of blood, and got home and lived to tell the tale. And now I've got a sweet little arrowhead tattoo out of it. So
Incredible. Truly incredible.
yeah.
Having met your wife, I can imagine how loud that 5 seconds of silence was.
Oh, like deafening silence.
Man.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Glad you lived to tell the tale.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get you out of here, let's get a prediction for the match against Newcastle. What are you thinking?
I think like a really nervy 2-1.
Okay.
Probably. City, like they're gonna win, but I think the first game truly settling in without Rodri. I know we played in the Carabao, but that was always going to be about the kids. It's going to be tight. I think you'll see us play pretty conservatively early on to try to settle in, especially with that crowd at St. James. Like, luckily it's a 6:30, so they won't be completely boozed up. At 12:30 their time. Although, fuck, it's Newcastle. They'll be drunk as shit. So, I expect it to be rambunctious. I think if we get it like an early goal, settle in. Okay.
I love it. 2-1 sounds great to me.
Yeah.
As long as we win, that's all I care about.
3 points.
All right, homie. Well, plug yourself. Let people know where to find you and your most fire tweets and tings.
Yeah. This is for Meghan specifically. I know she's in the background thing. You can follow me at Kevin Cityzen because I tweet at the Gooners quite a bit, and there's one thing I want to say is, the KC Gooners handle tweets about class and just being better than City all the time. And I have a deleted tweet of theirs, screenshotted, from when Rodri's ACL was announced. And these classy guys tweeted the Seinfeld couch just eating popcorn. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah. From the main handle. Classy. Gooners. Classy. Bring it on.
Appreciate you, homie.
Yeah.
Hey, she admitted it. Very not cool. But people be wild. We can talk. Honestly, I don't want to talk about Rodri. I don't want to do it. I don't. Hold on.
We could talk about our 8-0 advance into the group stage of
Yeah.
NWCL.
What a time to be alive.
Whew. And
That's incredible.
Joe Rourke's supposed to be on the bench for Brighton this weekend. Let's talk about that.
We're coming home. We're coming in full. You know, I love it. We have hope on that side. We got hope on our side. Both sides, men, women, everybody's eating. You know, that's what we do. We move. It literally reminds me of the KDB season when he was out. Like not last year, but the one a few years ago when he missed the whole thing basically, and we still won. Gundo year, we find a way. We find a fucking way.
Sorry, I just got really stressed thinking about not having a budget.
Because you hadn't really processed. I don't think we really processed it on the show.
I hyper process things. So like I wait till last second and also I'm just like, ooh, all right, just process it in a random moment, like during a lit stream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm struggling. It's just lost a hey, and that's what I said on the pod. Just they are down bad. Newcastle's struggling. They have to show up and show out, or else Eddie Howe's not making it to Thanksgiving. Like, bro, it's looking scary for him. Next guest. What do seagulls sound like?
Oh no, that's wrong. That's wrong. We got to do it like they did in Finding Nemo. Mine.
Hey, let's go. Oh, shout out to our Brighton. Let's just bring her on, the homie Soni M.
Hey, what's up, gang? I'm getting lit a different way. So,
hey yo,
Hey.
Happy Thursday! Love to see it. Love to see it. Fully supported.
Absolutely. What's going on, party people? Great to talk to you guys again.
Yeah, just living life. How is it in Brighton? How are you guys looking towards the season with everything that's going on there?
Yeah, so I mean, we have the new coach, he's been doing great. Youngest guy to win, like, I guess, manager of the month in the PL. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, I think we're getting our footing right now. We haven't lost a game yet. We've drawn.
Undefeated.
Yeah,
Invincible.
We've drawn, but we have not lost a game yet. So
Unbeaten.
yes. Yes.
One of three.
Yeah. So I'm very happy about that. I think most people are looking forward to the Chelsea game this weekend. That's going to be a spicy one, especially because Chelsea and Brighton do not like each other at the moment. So,
I mean, they tried to buy your whole operation. Like,
Yes.
they still do. That's the crazy part. They just
that has not changed.
Right.
Brighton North versus Brighton.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have all these new players. I know we were talking about Newcastle like a little minute ago. So Minte, because we got Yakuba Minte, and he's been amazing for us. That guy is like quick, fast. Like he has this cool little thing going on, and everyone's just like, this is what we needed the whole time. And so, like putting all the pieces together with our other players. It's been fun to watch. It's like a super young team with a super young coach. So
Potter Derby is crazy.
I thought of Harry Potter playing Quidditch.
Oh my god! No, the Potter Derby was when he left, and Chelsea came to Brighton, and we had De Zerbi, and that was the craziest football game ever. I'd never. Out of like talking to my Brighton friends, they're just like, it was probably one of the loudest games they've been to in a very long time. So, but yeah, I've heard of the Potter Derby.
So, wait, who's the standout? Because the whole thing is like we're always running. You have a new young star, and I feel like some of your old stars were dealing with injuries and now they're trying to come back. I've always been talking about how Brighton needs to figure out a way to maintain pieces, hold on pieces, and then also obviously get some elder statesmen in there to help straighten things out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like they have made a change to like take themselves seriously, or is it just return of investment FC?
No, I don't think it's a return investment. I think we have spent a lot of time just putting all the building pieces together again. And I like a lot of people were saying that De Zerbi wanted to push for more buying of players and getting like older players in, but Brighton has their model. They don't want to deviate from the model, so they wanted to keep that model, and they ended up parting ways. And so, like, we saw Brighton pick up a bunch of players earlier this season or earlier in the preseason. Because De Zerbi wasn't around. And so at that point, Bloom was like, all right, let's look at the data. Let's see who we're picking up. And we picked up some folks that Hersler was interested in. So that was really cool to see. But in terms of standout players, I mean, I know there's a lot of like Turkish fans in Brighton social media right now because of Ferdy. So Ferdy, something a person to watch. We had Matt O'Reilly, but then he got injured, so that sucked. And of course, you have Minte. You have who else? There are some other people because we lost Gilmore to Napoli, so he went to Napoli. Some players got traded out. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just
y'all picked up Joao Pedro, and James Milner.
yeah, but that was last year. So
I don't pay attention to the man. I have no idea where he's at. So the fact that he's been there 2 years, that do better. You guys can succeed and thrive with him on your roster. You just
right. He's kind of like the like a veteran figurehead. So not only do you have Dunk, who's been the captain for a very long time, but you also have James Milner, which, we don't see him on the field very often, but he is considered a Liverpool legend. And I think just having that experience alone and being in that locker room and like encouraging the younger players to kind of like get it together, I think that's still a win for us. So yeah, sure, maybe not a win on the field, especially because he gets injured very often, but in terms of like locker room and, helping like the younger ones kind of like, pick up their pace and help them out with stuff, I think he's number one in that. So don't talk shit about Milner. If he wasn't doing shit, then that'd be different.
I'm sorry. I will talk shit about James Milner every opportunity that presents itself. Even opportunities that do not present themselves, I will still talk shit about James Milner.
Hey,
I'll be nice to your team and ask you a different question. We're talking about veteran presence in your squad. Do you all have like the secret sauce for Danny Welbeck? Because he's leading your team in goal scoring, and like he's not a spring chicken.
No, he's not.
Hey, shout out to 33-year-olds everywhere. We out.
Shout out. I'm 32, but still, shout out to 33s everywhere. Listen, I don't know what Welbeck is doing. I don't think anybody knows what he's doing, but he's scoring goals, and that's all I give a shit about. I'm just gonna be honest. He's great. So keep scoring goals, just don't get hurt, please, for the love of God.
Yeah,
Can I follow up real quick?
Yes.
So with that, what's happened to Evan Ferguson? Because there was a time where he was like going to be the second coming, and he was thought to be that guy. Was it injuries? Is it the manager's choice, or a combination?
I wouldn't say it's the manager's choice, because I know De Zerbi was also really protective of him and wanted to make sure that he was developed very well. I think it's injuries. I just think that they're not giving the players enough time to patch up, and that is a huge issue across the board everywhere. Last year we were plagued with injuries because it just seemed like we were rushing people back on the field. Like they'd be like, okay, I'm ready to go, and then a game or two later, they get injured again. I know last year a lot of players got injured during practice with De Zerbi. So I had a few people on Brighton Twitter questions like, is it De Zerbi running them down to the ground? Like, what's going on? Because that's just bizarre behavior. Brighton ended up making some changes to that. They ended up buying like a brand new doctor from like Germany who was like a team physician for like one of the top Bundesliga teams. I don't remember entirely. But they brought him on and made some sweeping changes because now I know, like, again, Minte, for example, comes to mind where he got a really bad knock. And Team Doctor went out there, guy was like, you got to get out. And like Minte was pissed off and everyone's like, no, you got to let him play. But at the same time, we're spending money on a doctor who's making like the right decisions for them. Because the last thing we need are like concussed players. We already have that enough here in the States with the NFL, like the CTEs is huge. But the same thing applies in football. You got to make sure that your players are healthy and in top shape so that way they can perform and not only expand their career, but also, you know, like it's a good morale booster for them. So if they're getting constantly injured, they're going to be like, why is this happening to me? Like, how do I get, like, what can I do to avoid it? Because the reality is you can't avoid injuries. It's just one of those things that happen. Like, it's really unfortunate bad luck. Like, I learned that earlier this year when I got my knee injury. So, like, it's, you know, the most that you can do is just heal up, take your time, and make sure that you work with the best doctors available to have that. And I think with Ferguson's injuries, not only on the international side of things, because he does play for his national team, but also for Brighton, it's like, we don't know if he was getting healed up properly. We don't know what the doctors were doing. We don't know what like De Zerbi was doing behind the scenes. So I think it's just injuries. But he should be back soon. I really hope that he does because he has a bright future ahead of him.
Sure. Oh, sorry. I thought you had something. Wait. Oh, I know you hate Chelsea, but is there like a rival for Brighton?
Yeah, Crystal Palace.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, they hate Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace hates them. Every single time that they play on Twitter, it becomes a madhouse.
Bird on bird crying.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, Chelsea has only been a recent pain in the ass for Brighton ever since Potter like left them. So
Oh, and shout out to fan 367. Frankfurt is where the doctor came from.
thank you. I knew it was somewhere like that.
Goodness gracious. Oh man, Crystal Palace, they're doing pretty decent this year. It'll be interesting to what's going on. Also, I wanted to laugh at United a little bit while we're here.
We all like that. We all enjoy
We all love that
that's
here.
great content
Absolutely.
for everybody.
Twinty. Love Twinty.
Yeah.
Big twin.
Like man, Ten Hag. I think Sharpie, you and your bald brethren are gonna have to like do a GoFundMe to get him some hair plugs because he's just making.
That's fucked.
Hey
Holy
man,
shit.
hey man. Let's just say this, right? All the people in the world with hair, there's a lot of them that fuck up shit, okay? So not everybody that's bald can be great. Nobody, you know, for every honest slot, there's a Eric Ten Hag, you know? The game's the game. Them's the rules. But I'm so happy that, like, Pep's master plan of, or I'll say this, the players being so drunk that they blew the FA Cup final was the best thing to happen for us. Like, everybody won for that. Because they were like, well, we got another trophy. Might as well keep them. And look at the bullshit. I think they're like winless in their last like 7 European matches, or 1-7 or something. Like, it's really bad. It's really abysmal. They're a joke. I can't wait to play them again. They make me happy every time they lose, every time they draw. Like, it's so inept. It's the definition of mid. They're like that shit you got back in 2008 that was like barely grass, and you were just like, well, I'm gonna try to get something out of this. Might as well. But that's what they are. The real ones were there. We were there before we leveled up. This is like beginning of Obama's term, right? It wasn't that good, and then by Obama's second term, we were like, oh, we cooking now. Like, but they're still that mid, or they're Reggie, as we say. So shout out to them for keeping us entertained. They are great for content. Love them. Shout out to Twinta. Hope they go and go far in the Europa League. And man,
Please do. Thank you for your service.
And then didn't the ball man say it's gonna hurt to hurt something you love or something like that?
Yeah, because
bro, you drew. Y'all don't even score goals consistently. You thought that little didn't they have to play a match during Champions League, like the third round of the Carabao or something?
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Very embarrassing. Just a goddamn joke.
Very embarrassing.
Southgate in is hilarious. Wow, that's a good one.
Oh,
I like that. Potter in. I want somebody else. Just give us some competent management. It's not even fun anymore. They're a joke.
No,
I'm more worried about Nottingham Forest than Man U. Like Nottingham Forest really actually scares me as a competent side more than United, and it's not even close.
Yes, that's crazy.
I'll always root for their incompetence. I don't know. Just yeah, they can just continue to be bad, and I'm not going to be too pressed about it. Like honestly, they can. Oh, and Megan brings up a great point, and they stole the facilities from their women's team and made them dress in like portable locker rooms. So
bruh, nah.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a
real thing. Nah. I'm sorry, that's fucked up to the max.
May they stay 11th or below.
And
Amen. See top table. They don't deserve to be. They play crap football. They have 5 Premier League goals.
Huh?
5 in 5 matches. They've allowed 5. They are, again, the definition of mid. It is terrible. It's an abysmal abomination. It's sad that Sir Alex Ferguson has to watch his BS. If he had a grave, if he was in a grave, he would turn over. But he shows up and watches it every week. He shows up and watches it.
I know I've said this on Wax before, and I know people said that I was really fucked up for saying this, but like, I'm not sure that they're gonna get better until he dies. Like, and not just that, like, and that I know that that's terribly morbid. And, like, I know that that's like not in the sense that like he's. I think that his specter as a person is just too large around the club, and like I don't think that they can be successful while he's looking over their shoulder.
I mean, all that's gonna happen is he's gonna haunt their ass because they're just gonna be saying,
he's a ghost.
He was alive.
Not the ghost.
He would be so upset if he saw how they were right now. And it's just like, what are you talking about? He was alive when they were trash. They're gonna be trash that way. But obviously, Tom, oddly enough, I was gonna make the opposite joke. I was like, he's clinging on to life because he needs to see United succeed,
be decent.
Did you just basically you just said he's
by world?
You just called him the Jerry Jones of world football.
I mean,
that's not. It works.
Not everybody said
when you got it, you got it. When you hit on the nail, boop, that's it.
You're not wrong.
Oh man,
British Jerry. I'm sorry, Scottish Jerry Jones. I love it. Scottish Jerry Jones.
Damn,
what a guy.
That's crazy.
What a club. What a club.
Keep
being mid. Making me laugh every week.
Oh man.
Would they ever score 3 goals in a Premier League game? We're gonna see. We'll find out. I don't think so. I would bet so much money. Just bet money on like the under 4.5. They won't score enough goals.
That's fair.
They're not good enough.
Tony, you said that you all played Chelsea this weekend. What's your prediction for your scoreline?
Oh my god. I don't make predictions for that game in particular because every single time that everyone's like, okay, yeah, we'll get this, it's the complete opposite or we tie. So as opposed to giving us a scoreline, what's something that's definitely going to happen in this match? A fight.
Ooh.
A fight. I mean, Caicedo's
I think it's going to involve Caicedo. I was going to say Caicedo's going to be in something. Yeah. Yellow card back Caicedo. Bet your salary on it.
100%.
Bet everything you own. Fictionally, don't do that. Don't ever bet everything you own. It was a joke, people.
Please don't do that.
Please, it is not worth it.
Charlie told me to.
But if you got some fun money, bet on a yellow card on Caicedo.
100%. Yeah, because it's going to happen. He's going to get pissy about something. So
double-footed tackle. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
He's gonna do a Lissandro?
I think so. That was wild. See, again, Man United, the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. It is wild. You brought that up, and I totally forgot about it because so much has happened in the world. But that is the memes were crazy, bro. This man was jumping off of skyscrapers. He was coming off the top rope, like he was bungee jumping. It was just crazy. All the things little Lissandro did. Little Sandro.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Having a baby center back is so crazy. Like when the rest of the world like, no, let's be big. And they were like, nah, get the tiny one. Like that's why you can't trust Eric Ten Hag, dog. He chose Anthony over Kudus, and he chose the baby center back in an era of giant men, and that's what he did. That's it. That's it. And that's all, folks. They suck. Brighton's so much better run. Y'all deserve the budget they do. I hate that y'all have to sell players, and United can just spend money every fucking summer to be mid. It's embarrassing. God damn it. I hate the color red. Fuck them all.
Hey. Let's a little too far.
Yeah, I said what things were said. I feel a Broncos fan, Tom. I don't fuck with y'all. This is not fun. Again, I said what I said. I do not have the color red in my closet. We're like in a union. It's like, oh, Wednesday, we're red for Ed. No, fuck red. I'm not wearing that shit. Hate that color.
Hell nah.
Sharpie, Mans is on fire. I'm trying to warm my hands up right now off of here.
I'm sorry. This is what happens. I've been off for a while. I'm coming back with tape.
I like it.
My bad.
No, I love this shit. This is great.
Oh, Megan's take in the chat is whoo.
That is a match made in hell. I love it. Let's do it.
No, actually, Megan, I'm sorry. He has to go to Sony's former club coach's current team.
Marseille.
So
they're just collecting criminals. They're collecting criminals, right? Who's the new criminal they just got?
Did y'all hear that they're interested in Benjamin Mendy?
And Mendy, that's the one. They want this other criminal to go with the other criminal from Man U, South United, and then they want another criminal from the Premier League. I think they should just get a gang of 11. Let's call it the gang. French gang. I need to know how to say the gang in French.
I mean, the Marseille Ultras are fucking crazy, so it kind of fits.
But they're actually, and I hate it, but they're actually doing well this year. Like they play really good football. It's annoying. Like it's annoying that Greenwood's so good. It's so annoying.
It really sucks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is great. That felt good. You woke me up, Soni. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Glad I could do that.
Oh, well, before we get you out of here, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Soni M, and you can find me on Twitter at _SONIM. So my nickname, go figure. I talk Brighton, and I also do a little bit of GTA streaming on the side. So if you like, seeing people do random shit on the internet, there you go.
Hey. Appreciate you. We will definitely be talking soon.
DC's finest.
We'll see your women's side this weekend as well. So good luck, but also not best of luck.
No. Score one goal. That's it. Score a goal.
No, we can't do that because Brighton scored. They only scored one goal and got 3 points last year, so we can't have that.
Sorry, no goals. No injuries. That's all I can wish you. No injuries. There we go.
No injuries.
Come out.
I'm going to say no injuries to you guys as well, but we will score a goal. I'm just going to say.
That's how we got to address each other now. Just no injuries for your team.
Yeah, no injuries.
You be healthy.
No injuries, just points. That's all.
I pray health for you. Health to you.
Soni.
All right, bye guys.
Oh man. So fun. Okay, it's time to bring the fun. Okay, Meghan Dooley.
War damn gooner.
Y'all ready for some Casey Current talk, right? Yeah?
Ooh, let's get it. Let's get spicy.
Yes. Are you going to be at CPKC Saturday?
Yeah, I will be there. I'm going to watch them score some more goals. Run it up.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to connect for sure.
I love this Kansas City night. This is great.
It really is Kansas City night.
It's a KC sandwich. It's a KC sandwich with a little bit of Old Bay in the middle, with some Old Bay, in the middle.
I did see he had the same.
Ooh, did you just say barbecue with Old Bay seasoning? Because that might slap.
Ooh, that would.
You could do things with that. It made me feel good.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
When we were in DC, we had crab fries at the Orioles, and that was
wow,
maybe the best baseball food I've ever had.
Yes, it's amazing. Megan, what we talking about tonight? What's on your heart?
Oh no, her head coach of her football team saying that they would win a game that they lost nine times. How about that?
See, this is why I went to her first, because you did that, and I wasn't even going to talk about that. Even though Wharton didn't make it in her hand, I wouldn't let that go.
Tom, honest to God, somebody was like, oh, like told me that, and I was like, I could have made that up. I could have told you he was going to say some asinine shit like, hey, we lost one of the worst teams in the SEC, but if we played them again 9 times, we'd win 9 times. There were 3 interceptions in 28 seconds of game time. Like, what?
That's what I do on College Football 25. Literally, that's a video game.
Right.
I've done it. I did it today. It's wild.
Our like star player right now is our kicker, which is very on brand for Auburn. But the crowning achievement, and the only way I still wouldn't be okay with keeping him as a coach, but I would at least like shut up about it, is if he beats Bama. If he beats Bama and this like the worst possible Auburn team fucks them up, I would just be delightful. But it's probably not going to happen.
So
For those of you who don't know, I'm an Auburn grad who has lived in Kansas City. It'll be a decade in December, which is really fun. And our football team's down bad. But our football team, our women's soccer team, is ranked number 5 in the nation, which like we're not normally very good. And they've only allowed 1 goal so far through like 13 games, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing great. Although I just noticed they're down 1-0 right now, but hopefully they're coming back.
We got time.
But no, I mean, I think the reason you guys probably want to talk to me, do you want to talk about men or women first? Because we had a doubleheader, which, like, I understand why they did that.
Let's go women. I want women. Let's talk about it. I need to push. I need to get it out my heart.
Okay.
Go ahead. How did it feel for you, Megan?
So I'm a Viv girl. Like, Viv's my all-time favorite women's player. The first player I ever got a jersey number and name on the back of. So, you know, it was pretty brutal when she left. I will say, like, I fully support her leaving. I think she should get to play the way she wants to play. I don't think she should have to adjust for a system. Like, players always have to be flexible, but she's one of one. She's clearly still got it. Obviously, she scored a great goal. She's still really good, and the system we're currently playing, which whole separate conversation I can talk about, but, like, it just doesn't work for the way she plays, and that sucks. If it was between her and Jonas, like, for sure I'm picking her, but that's just not the option right now. And so I'm not one of those bitter Arsenal fans who's like, I never want her to score again. Did I not want her to score against us? Obviously. But I like her to do well because I like her as a player and as a person. And I think she is still a good player. She deserves to show that. I'll cheer for the Dutch when they're not playing the U.S. women. Like, but yeah, I mean, that was like hard to watch. I was not like sobbing. There were some fans where I was like, okay, friend, she's still alive. She didn't die. Like, she's still playing soccer. Like, let's relax. But that match was good. I mean, like, you know, I think both teams were probably unsatisfied with aspects of their performance. Like, I hope they just did finishing drills all week. Like, I hope they just did 45 minutes of finishing drills. But
I mean, clearly they did, because they both scored 3 and 4 goals respectively in their Champions League matches. Yeah,
and so that's been pretty. And the goals today, by the way, like, I don't expect y'all to have watched an Arsenal women's game, but the 2 of the goals were like pretty rad. And so it was cool to see them not just be like dinks into the net, to see like, oh, they're just kind of what I've thought that Arsenal women have been missing, is kind of that like killer instinct when it comes to getting into the net. Sina Blackstenius, craziest goals of all time, but they all seem like accidents. They don't seem like they're necessarily on purpose all the time. And so
all 4 of the ones that she scored last year against us were on purpose. I can guarantee.
Yeah, well, that's true. Like,
I actually hate this woman. Like, I'm sorry, I genuinely hate her.
If I were y'all, I would hate her too. But yeah, so, you know, I thought it was a good, I think the WSL, just like from a branding standpoint, I think it was smart to start with that game. I think for the teams, it sucked because neither of them were like at full capacity, full form, obviously. You know, I would have loved to have seen Kiara in goal. But I still think probably for the WSL, like, that was a great fixture to start. Both of the teams are still in it. I think both teams were probably happy to walk away with a point because both teams could have made convincing arguments for winning. And I think, honestly, a draw made sense in that game.
Okay, so Deep D Treb and I, we talked about this on the 12. Yes, that's right, the 12. SLB's Network's new podcast about the WSL, which y'all should tune into and subscribe to on your podcast medium of choice, as well as following us on social media at the 12 WSL. We were talking about how there were 2 like calls that
Yes.
pretty much determined this match?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, like I'm like based off of the fact that Lia Alexandria wears white boots, I know that Caitlin Ford was onside.
Yeah.
I know in my heart Caitlin Ford was onside.
But I will say, like, a lot of people were like, oh man, I wish that we had VAR. No, I'm a VAR hater. And like, I am willing to be a VAR hater, even in instances like this where it would have benefited my team. You're right. 100% she was onside. But I think VAR is cancer in other ways that I'm kind of glad. But on the flip side, y'all, we got away with something. And it did sort of feel like there was an equivalency. Like, I wasn't mad because I was like,
Kim Little absolutely murdered Chloe Kelly.
Yeah.
Killed her.
Yeah, I'm not denying these charges. 100% we did.
And then, you know, Caitlin Ford or Katie McCabe, of all people, just jumps over a mass of bodies to get on the ball and start an attack.
Yes. I will say, like, obviously, if I was in y'all's shoes, I would be, like, real annoyed by that. That was, like, the most TikTok moment. The second that happened, I was like, oh, so many people are going to put this to some sort of sound and use this clip of Katie McCabe just jumping over and keeping it going. But yeah, no, they bodied Chloe, and like that is not great. It's not ideal. I will say, you know, I got a little angrier about calls in a different game, and so I kind of forgot how annoyed I was until I listened to some Arsenal women and some other WSL podcasts, and then I was like, oh, that's right, I was mad about that goal.
Yeah.
But like I said, I walked away from I walked into it saying if we can get a point, I will feel good. I obviously would like a win. But especially with the way that Arsenal seasons have started in years past, if we could get a point and if we could make it to the group stage in the Champions League, then I would walk out of this week feeling good. I wouldn't be that angry. And there obviously is like lots of room for improvement. Arsenal struggles with finishing. I think we have some really good depth, but still figuring out what our preferred first lineup is. One of the problems is we have a lot of great folks who are winding up injured at inopportune times, and so just trying to figure out what our best lineup is. I went to the women's tour in DC, which was not like the most exciting game because it was a friendly, and we're not going to talk about the KC Current game because that was terrible, truly.
Rough.
But we had so many people injured in preseason or coming back from international play with some knocks that we didn't really get to try our best lineup, in my opinion, during those preseason matches. And so I think there's still some like figuring out of what our preferred, especially that front line. There's just a lot of different people that can slot in there depending on how we want to play. And I just don't think we've really figured out like what the preferred set is. But the good news is we made it into group stage. And so I'm actually going to be in London during that match. There's a chance it's at Man City. So I will let you guys know if I end up there because we're in the same pot. And so I will obviously take lots of pictures.
But the pots is just like how they draw the groups, right? Because they haven't drawn. They're going to draw.
Okay, yeah, that could be totally true. I tried, Tom, not an exaggeration, I Googled for like 30 minutes to try to figure out, because the men's has the new format, it kept giving me men's format, and I was like, no, I need to know like what the women's format, how it's going to work, and I couldn't find any stuff, so I'm going to...
Yeah, so the women's do it traditionally where like one team from every pot will make up the groups, and then you can't have two in the same delegation to be, you know, in a group, so... Yeah, well, should be good. Mind, can I set up the men's question for you, Megan?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
Which match will Arsenal play where they don't kick a ball after the whistle? Go.
Well, I'm hoping everyone from here on out. It's I think it's like, I'm not going to come here and be like high horses. He shouldn't have done it, right? There are some Arsenal fans that are arguing like, did he hear the whistle fast enough or did he think it was the end of the half? It doesn't really matter. He probably shouldn't have done it anyway. I think what's hard for Arsenal fans, and y'all are going to be like, cry me a river, I don't care. That's fine. I think it's just hard because that is one of those things that like nobody's complaining about. And we started the season with some really aggressive conduct ones that didn't get called. And so it feels extra frustrating to have like ticky-tacky shit when one of our players was getting choked and another player had a man put his hand up his behind. And like neither of those things were I know that
these are things that happen. Wow, that did happen.
What?
Yeah, he went all in the ass. Yeah, he went all in the ass.
Like
it was a cavity search.
In Gabby Jesus' ass. Like, I will
Who
send
did?
you a clip.
He and reached
Oh no, I
over
saw this.
too.
Okay, I have
Just
seen this.
like,
Okay, yeah, I have seen this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And
wild. That was Skinamax. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was very Skinamax. I think actually an Arsenal podcast made like a joking advertisement for Skinamax, like talking about it. So yeah, I think that is the part that's frustrating to us. I'm not a person who believes in conspiracies. You know, there are lots of people out here who are connecting dots on where referees live and blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to assume goodwill for the most part, but I think that's the part for me personally. I guess I can't speak for everybody. For me personally, that's the part that's really frustrating. He did a dumb thing. He shouldn't have done it. I just wish there was some consistency in refereeing generally when it comes to violent conduct, because not just Arsenal, but other stuff. I'm like, violent conduct should be the number one thing we care about. And it doesn't seem like at all that is close to the number one thing they seem to care about lately. And that sucks. We're going to transition controversially to another thing, but like violent conduct will also cause injuries. And I think the number one cause of injuries right now is over saturation of matches, right? That they're just like playing way too much, especially with country. But violent conduct doesn't help if your hamstring is not doing great and then you get a rough shove or somebody, you know, does something awful or comes into you with their studs up. That's not great, not ideal. So I just have a lot of thoughts on refereeing in the PGML. And I feel like most of Arsenal Twitter has a lot of thoughts about that. But like, you still have to go out and win the game. Was that the prettiest game I've ever seen played? Absolutely not. At one point we had 6% possession in that second half. Like, that's not ideal, but I think if you get in that situation and you're playing somebody who you cannot afford to drop points to, like, then we're going to play ugly fucking football. Like, that's just how it goes. I will say earlier, somebody said some Kyle Walker things. I think it was Kevin. I can't tell you, like, I'm not one who like roots for players to like downfall. There was nothing funnier to me than him fucking with Gabby and then that happening. You know, like Kyle Walker is a great player. Obviously he's won some trophies, but there was nothing funnier than in that moment than him like fucking with Gabby and Gabby being the one to score the goal. Set piece FC. Like, you can't come at us with our own magic. So
what was the point of the match that you knew that Man City was going to equalize?
Well, so if any of you looked at my Twitter, I ended up outside of Johnny's because I was so stressed out. Like, I was watching, for those of you who have not been to Kansas City, Johnny's is a sports bar in town, and they have windows all along the wall towards the street. So I was physically outside watching through the windows because I was so stressed out, and I knew it was going to be like a 98th minute. I called that it was Grealish. I did not say Stones, but I was like 98th Grealish just feels like what's going to happen. And I will say, Tom, like the exact moment I knew is the second you guys went for that quick kick. I was like, oh, fuck, they're not set. Like, I just knew immediately that their heads were not in it. I will say, like, props. Arsenal has gotten critique of like not being like mentality monsters before. And I will say, to me, who has watched this team for a long time, Arsenal teams of the past would have conceded within 20 minutes, right? The fact that they lasted that long and that they were like that invested, for me, is progress. Like, that doesn't win you any points. It doesn't win you any trophies. But objectively, as a fan, like, you want your players to fight. And I appreciated. I also was so thankful Granit Xhaka was not on that pitch. I love him dearly. I think he's an incredible player. That man would have gotten a red card so fast after. He would have thrown an elbow or something, and we would have been down to 9 for sure.
So I have to, I think it's so funny that, like, on the day that both of our teams played, after the match, both managers had something to say, of your managers had something to say about extra time, like, yeah. But just in totally opposite direction. Yeah.
Which I will say, like, I don't like Jonas. This is like a well-known thing. I'm not a fan of him. I want my team to do well.
Wait, before you go any further, are any Arsenal women's fans?
No. We just tolerate. We're just like, this is who we have to live with right now. Okay. This is our stepdad. We don't, he's not the dad that steps up. He's the stepdad. But I will say, I thought it was weird the way he blew that whistle, because it seemed like it was like mid-play, which is not saying like the result didn't deserve. It was just a weird point for the referee to blow the whistle. And as much as I, think Jonas can sometimes be over the top, especially at the end of games, I also was like, what the fuck? Like, why? What? But Yeah, they did both have things to say, which was interesting. I will also say, I'll give Pep props. He is one of the greatest of all time, no doubt. I really appreciated that he didn't, it seemed like he enjoyed the game, even though obviously Arsenal did not play beautiful football in that second half. But like you could tell that he relished the challenge of what that match was. And there have been games before where he does the kind of like, oh, cute little Arsenal, like they tried so hard, but they couldn't quite do it. Whereas this time, I think he genuinely like respected the choices we made for the first half. I think nobody is denying the second half. Again, terrible football, but it had to be done. But I do think that like there were moments in the first 20 minutes, you guys had me terrified. I was like, all right, they're going to win like 3-0. The fact that we got it back together for that second 25, I think is not something Arsenal teams have done historically in these matches.
That Calafiore goal was
beautiful.
Guys, the way
even though the ref fucked us over, the shot was
yeah.
The way I thirst after that man in my Arsenal group chats, like the pictures I have saved on my phone of his beautiful jawline, and then that beautiful goal.
So he's y'all new Hector Bellerin?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, I still love Hector forever and always, but like
supersized Hector. He just
he has like moved into it. I need him to develop a North London accent the way Hector did, and then I'm done for. Like I'm absolutely. If y'all have never heard Hector Bellerin talk, he talks like he's a guy on like Top Boy. Like he has the like North London accent, even though he's from Spain, because he lived there for so long. And he says in it all the time, and I'm just like, who are you? But
we are the culture we grew up around.
But yeah, I mean, I think overall, like looking at the season, it does feel like you guys are a little more gettable, not in a like you guys are trash kind of way, but like both of us seem like we're still in it. I think you guys are better than the current version of Arsenal. Both the men and the women have had some weird injuries pop up. Our new signing broke his shoulder, like practice too. So that was cool and fun and great. And so I'm just excited for it to be competitive again, because there was a feeling among the Arsenal fan base of like, did we do enough in the off season? I would have loved to have had a striker. I like Raheem Sterling. I hope he does well. I think what Chelsea did to him was awful. But that's Chelsea. And so like, I hope that he does well, because I would like to see him do well. But I wish we got a younger striker. I wish we would have found somebody. But part of the problem, and you guys have had this problem for a long time, although you have navigated it, is at a certain point, there are only so many players that are going to make your team better when it's really good. And so a lot of what was on the market would have been like equivalent players, but they wouldn't have necessarily made us better. And I think that was hard for us this season to navigate, particularly when lots of teams knew that we wanted to spend money, which is like part of the whole game, right?
Welcome to the club.
Navigating that part. The one other last little thing I'll say about this season is there are a lot of Arsenal fans who are now really big Fulham or Crystal Palace fans, and that is because some of our babies have flown the coop. And so to see Emile Smith-Rowe doing really, really well has been really fun. And if I'm telling you, like, my dream scenario, I believe y'all play Fulham in the last game of the season, and if Emile Smith-Rowe could score a goal, that would, like, we would lose it. But I don't think that's going to happen necessarily, but it would, again, dream scenario.
I want to ask a question about Arteta and his passion.
Okay.
Let's phrase it like that. For you to handle and beat Man City to the title, you would like to believe cooler heads are going to need to prevail. And he's gotten a lot better, but he still is like an angry man. And so it's like, and I know that can fire up a team, but sometimes when you need to focus, like, yes, refereeing is bad, but also it's good to have someone there. And maybe that's like, who is that on the pitch to be like, hey, yo, we need to like chill out. And I just feel like that there's just so many times y'all start speeding and then, I don't know, just like lose control.
I would say this season it's been a little better. Like, obviously you guys are not watching every single game of them. I do think that he seems to be more calm. I will say, as an American sports fan, I'm not as pearl clutchy about it as I think that some of the UK sports fans are about managers. I'm like, have y'all watched an SEC football game?
Well,
That part.
I will say
Kirby
has a get back coach, which I think is very funny. That's a very American thing. Carlos Cuesta comes and like pulls him back sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I can see the argument. I personally would prefer a manager who is passionate than one that is not. But that is like a personal preference in manager. I will say I also, like, not to be defensive, I do think Mikel gets it more than other managers who sometimes do the same things. Not to pick in this game, but like Pep kicked a chair and nobody talked about it. And that's fine. Like, I don't think what Pep did was wrong, but I saw a lot of people like talking about Mikel being angry on the sideline. And I was like, he kicked a chair. Like, if Mikel did that, they would be asking, like, the commentators would be like, he needs a touchline ban.
I mean, it's his chair. He can kick his chair.
That's fair. But it's just one of those things that sometimes it feels like, and I don't know why, right? I'm not alleging anything, but it does feel like it became like a talking point that was like self-fulfilling. And then you would see other managers sometimes do similar things. And I'm like, okay, so why aren't they getting the same kind of commentary? And sometimes that's what happens when you don't have your results to follow it up. Like them's the breaks. But yeah, I mean, I do think he's calmed down significantly since the beginning. We didn't get like a disgracia moment there. But yeah, I mean, he is an emotional guy. Y'all have probably not watched All or Nothing, but you've probably seen the clips of his like.
Oh no, I definitely watched All or Nothing. I for sure watched All or Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch the Man City one, so like I wasn't assuming anybody else.
For a chance to be able to watch Possible Mess, I was in there.
And there was some good mess in it. There was. That was still when we had Abba on the team. But like his halftime talks, like if I was a player, hell yeah, I'd be locked in. Like when he was like, I get upset, I win a duel, I was like, I absolutely would fight for this man. So I think as long as the players are responding to it, but you're correct, like it could be a downside. I think there are enough players on the pitch. Like Odegaard tends to calm that kind of stuff down. Now, obviously, he wasn't on the pitch this weekend. He had a hurt ankle that's hopefully getting better. But Kaio, I think for the most part, is pretty calm guy. In fact, some fans wish he like showed a little bit more emotion. Although this time it did seem like he showed a little bit more at the end of the game. So I do think there are some players that seem to have like pretty level heads. But we'll have to see kind of as the season goes on.
All or Nothing was when I knew Arsenal were for real. I was watching that and I was like, damn, they are for real. And
we want it, right? Now, can we do it? I don't know. There are lots of factors throughout a season. Y'all, unfortunately, are dealing with one injury, which sucks, like, generally, because I think Rodri is a huge part of y'all's team, and I enjoy watching him play, so it is a bummer to not get to see him play. But yeah, like I think we are capable of doing it. It's just whether we actually get to the finish line. What crazy things half the season wrought. I will say I'm going back to London for a couple of matches. The first time I went to London, the Queen died. The second time I went to London, 2 weeks later, King Charles announced he had cancer. So we're going to super hope that Meghan doesn't do anything.
You are not going to be welcome back.
Yeah,
right.
The
royal family
shouldn't be telling people this information.
Absolutely not. No,
we're gonna hope nothing happens that cancels matches, because that's what happened the first time I went. Was that the matches we were going to go see got canceled. It did mean that my first game in England got to be Arsenal women, which was kind of a cool story to say that I saw them before I saw the men. But we're gonna super hope nothing wild happens that like derails the season. Yeah, I would like to the next time the Conservatives are in power, I will have this vote, right? Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't or hasn't it been? Is it 4 years or 5 years that like you all have improved your point total? It's every year of Arteta's better managing, right? Like y'all just keep getting better and better.
It's because we just renewed his contract, so it must be going into the 5th year.
Yeah, which is incredible, right? That's the goal, to get better every year. Yeah. Do you think you all can, because I think the number you're trying to reach finally is 90 points.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the year based on like that crazy solid defense, depth in the midfield, attackers, now you got Raheem to back up Martinelli and, whatever. Like, do you think you have enough to crack 90, or are you worried about what happened last year against those lower side teams or like earlier this year, right? Like Nottingham Forest gets you 1-0. Like, how do you think the season will look at the end of it?
No, that's a good question. I think The hard part right now is that we have a couple of players who we know are incredible, but have seemed to be missing something lately. So Martinelli, we adore. He does some great things off the ball, but on the ball lately, he just seems like he has the yips, like he's thinking about it just 2 extra touches. And, you know, the best season we've ever had, he was one of our leading goal scorers. It was him and Saka. And so there is the concern that, like, I think the defense for sure. I think the defense can hold on. I think the hard part is just if people go through funks, if we can't rely on Trossard to come in and be super sub, if Raheem can't be super sub, if Saka, God forbid, something happens, he has an injury. Martin has an injury right now if he doesn't come back full strength. I think the goal scoring is more of an issue than that defense. Saliba and Gabrielle, like, would trust with my life, man. Like, they're incredible. And we have a lot of defensive depth. The hard part is the offensive depth right now, in my opinion. And the funny / shitty thing, and this has happened to other teams as well, but we got rid of some of our offensive depth who were not doing anything for us. And now they're doing things at other clubs, which is good. You know, we hope that Reece Nelson keeps going because we'd like to get a good fee for him, and that it shows that the academy product coming out is really good, which is always beneficial for the head honchos upstairs. But there is the bummer of, like, oh, did we just get rid of somebody who could have helped us with those extra 2 crucial goals? Now, you can argue last season and the season before, like, they weren't really doing that. Reece Nelson has the goal that will get him free dinner anywhere in North London for the rest of time. But I think that's the hardest part, is just where is the offensive production going to come from? If some of these, what we think are yips, are actually like long-term decrease in productivity. But he's a baby. Like, Martinelli's not that old. So, like, hopefully it's just like a thing. Like, he scores a goal and then it starts going. You mentioned, like, are we going to trip up against somebody small? That's the big question, right? Are we going to be so focused on y'all that we forget something? Or the same thing that I think happened last year, where we get really far in Champions League, it seems more attainable, and then we just have a series of losses that are debilitating. That'll be the big question. I think their mentality is stronger for having gone through that. So my hope is that they would fight more. But also, like, as much as there's a lot of skill involved in soccer, there's a lot of just, like, you got to be lucky. Like, the things have to go your way, and we'll have to see. I still think the team of 2 years ago was, like, the team of destiny. Like, everything seemed to break in our direction until we had the Saliba injury, and then that was it.
That's real shit.
And I will say, like, I'm a girly who likes goals. I have become a defense lover because of the team as it has progressed, because it is so fun to watch them do their thing and shut it down, and that is incredible. But I, like, in most of life, I'm like, give me the goals, please. That's part of the reason I like the current. So we are all gas, no brakes. Defense is
vroom, vroom, vroom.
And that is really fun. But on my men's soccer side, I don't have that joy as much anymore.
It's a roller coaster. That's the Man City way. That's what happened when we got all these big boys. It's like, well, the goals go down, but we keep winning more. So
yeah, exactly. But I you know, as like I'm not an objective fan, right? I'm obviously biased, but I have friends who, like, don't have a team, which I think is bizarre. And to them, this rivalry has been, like, exciting to watch. Mm-hmm. To them, it has been great. Now, y'all have obviously won, and you've won some great trophies. I'd like to win at least a couple, and we'll see how it goes. But it is fun to care again. There was a period in the dark, in the wilderness, the end of Wenger, Unai, who, like, is doing fine at Villa, but, like, you can never really be the guy after the guy, right? It's pretty hard to do that, and so Unai was never gonna super work for us because he was the guy after the guy, even though Wenger had obviously, like, not done very well during his last couple of years.
Yeah. See y'all in February. Can't wait.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be exciting. Like, it's gonna be a good time. I am just happy for the days where I feel like I can talk shit to Spurs and Man United. There were many years I could not do that, and so I will always be a happy Arsenal fan if I can keep doing it.
Oh, well.
Also, Sharpie, no belief in your Broncos. Everybody keeps saying the Chiefs aren't it anymore, but
no, nobody's that stupid. Who really watches football?
I'm the easiest Chiefs fan, and I just like rallying everybody else up. I didn't
Broncos
grow
are shit.
So, like, I don't
that
care.
win surprised the hell out of me. You all will lose maybe 3 games this year. Blah blah blah. Pat Mahomes. Blah blah blah.
My guy Bo Nix, though. My guy Bo Nix.
I mean, yeah, Big Bo.
You
Woo, woo,
mean Bo
woo.
Nix, who was playing football in the Obama administration in
Yes.
college?
Yes.
Second term, he was there. Yeah, good luck. Go football.
Well, Megan, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things you do.
If you want to watch my Twitter feed be a mess over sports, I can be found at WarDamnMeg. Some friends of mine who are also friends of the show, we started a soccer/F1 podcast a couple weeks ago. It's mostly just our group chat out loud because we like talking to each other, but it is called DRSFC, and we'll be releasing episodes starting next week. So if you're interested in a messy perspective on F1 from some different soccer fans, check it out. There is a red team I love there too, so I'm sure Sharpie would hate them.
Yep,
But yeah, and thank you guys so much. I always appreciate y'all having me on the show. It would be very easy for y'all to be like, F this girl in our mentions all the time.
No,
But
no.
it makes me a better consumer of soccer, and I appreciate
all love.
Roll Tide.
Yeah. And with that, you have a good rest of your night. Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Oh man, what a night! I want to thank all our guests, Kevin, Soni, Megan. Oh man, what a wonderful show that we have for you next week. I am not scrambling, pulling out my calendar to
Not
see
at all. It's not happening at all. He's fine.
we have a wonderful show for you. Scarf Boy, we got the homie Musasek, and we're keeping our snow vibes going. Shout out to Shirtless Plantain Show. Mitch Piotr, he's gonna be out here.
Big Mitch. Epic rant. If you haven't heard the latest Arsenal episode of a Shirtless Plantain Show, incredible rant by Mitch. My man was on 15. He was so mad. White man anger always makes me laugh. It was hilarious. Thank you, Mitch.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Nothing like it.
Always appreciate your show, bros. Your time and energy. Always good chatting with y'all. We will be back together Sunday for recording because there's no kickoff shows because all the games this weekend are stupid early. So
hey, 6 point Sunday, 6 point weekend. Sorry,
6 point weekend. Yeah, yep, Saturday, Sunday. But tomorrow I will be chatting with the homie Giordi Dreads about Newcastle. So tap in. It is early conversation, 3 p.m. Central, because he is over in, England. So, time difference. So late
when you cross the water like Crunk, you gotta get your time zones right. Crunk is out here.
You gotta do what I gotta do. Sometimes I'm talking to the Premier League fan zone at 8 a.m. Like that was so crazy.
Humble brag.
Oh, like what are we doing? Right. I'm sipping my coffee.
Mr. Bicontinental over here. Not bicoastal, bicontinental. I love it. You got it, my king. You got it.
Appreciate you. Well, we'll all see you guys soon. But until then, you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.